Hey everyone, and welcome back. We're diving into something pretty big today. Um, Generative AI and how it's gonna, well, how it's impacting Gen Z already. We've all been hearing about it, so we're gonna break it all down.
Yeah.
And we found some really interesting research to help with this. There's this 2024 academic paper. It's from the Cognizance Journal of Multidisciplinary Studies.
Okay.
And this isn't just some random article or blog post. I mean, it's peer reviewed
Right.
and it's got a pretty solid impact factor of 4.843. So it's the real deal.
Oh,
Basically,
that's
we
high.
want to get into the potential of AI, the good stuff, like the opportunities it could bring, but also, maybe some of the not so good stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Possible downsides.
Yeah, exactly. Especially for this generation. I mean, they're basically digital natives, right?
Totally. Think about it. You listening right now, you've grown up in this digital world.
Yeah.
It's normal for you, right? Well, now take that and amplify it. That's Gen Z. Born, let's see, between 1997 and 2012. They're the first generation to grow up with this fully digital experience their whole lives.
It's like they've got this head start when it comes to AI, don't they?
You could say that, yeah.
But is it all good?
Well, that's what we're going to find out. Gen Z, they might be the best equipped to use AI, but they also might be the most, well, they might be more affected by the downsides too.
It's like a double-edged sword almost.
Exactly. It's a super interesting dynamic.
Okay, so let's get into it. What makes generative AI so different? It's not just like your basic calculator AI, is it?
No, not at all. It's more like, well, imagine you have a creative partner, someone who can just come up with text or compose music, make images, even write code for you.
Really?
And it does it all based on what you tell it to do.
So it's interactive?
Super interactive, yeah. And that's going to change things
Yeah.
big time, especially when it comes to things like education.
Oh, yeah. Education. Huge for Gen Z right
Yeah,
now.
huge. So think about it. You could have learning that's personalized for each student,
Yeah.
like tailored to how they learn best. They'd get instant feedback.
Like a 24/7 personal tutor or something.
That's the idea. And you know Gen Z, they love personalized experiences. They want things on demand.
It's like Netflix, but for learning.
Right.
Okay, but what about the downsides? The paper we were looking at, it mentioned something pretty interesting. Like, could too much reliance on AI actually be bad for students?
Yeah, definitely a possibility.
Would it, stop them from learning how to think for themselves? Or solve problems on their own? What do you think? Could too much AI help you learn? Or would it make you depend on it too much?
It's a really important question. We don't want students to just become, well, robots themselves, right? They have to be able to think critically and come up with their own solutions. That's essential.
Definitely. Okay, so education's one thing, but AI is blowing up in the creative world too.
Oh, yeah, it's changing everything. Artists, writers, musicians, filmmakers, they're all using these AI tools.
What are they, doing with them?
Well, they can use them to get ideas, try different styles, and even help with the technical stuff like editing or mixing.
So it's like having a creative partner who's also, a tech whiz.
Exactly. And this frees them up to focus on the bigger picture.
Like the emotional stuff, the storytelling.
Yes.
Yeah.
It lets them explore their creative vision more deeply.
There was this great quote in the paper about all this. It said, AI is freeing up the art of creation and making it mainstream.
It is. It's taking down the walls around art.
But then some people worry that it's all going to start to look the same, will algorithms just take over human creativity?
That's a big concern for a lot of people. Could we lose that unique human touch?
And if AI makes art so easy to make, will it still be special?
It's a tough question. And it's one we're going to keep unpacking as we go deeper.
Definitely. Okay, so we've got education and the arts, both changing because of AI.
Absolutely. And it's just the beginning.
So we've talked about, the good and the bad, right? But what does this actually look like? I mean, how are people using AI in, education and creative stuff right now?
Well, there's some pretty cool stuff happening. Like in education, you have these AI tutoring systems. They can analyze a student's work and figure out what they're good at and what they need help with.
Yeah.
And then, get this, it tailors the lessons just for them.
Wow.
Like a tutor who really knows how you learn.
Yeah. No more cookie cutter lessons.
Right.
So AI could, track how you're doing, and then adjust things as you go. Would that make you want to learn more? Would you be more motivated?
I think it could, yeah. It's definitely a game changer. And it's not just tutoring either. AI can create learning materials like interactive simulations or virtual field trips. You could even have textbooks that change for each student.
So textbooks wouldn't just be boring old books anymore.
Oh, they'd be dynamic.
That's pretty cool. But do you think it's a good thing? Or is there a downside to that too?
Hmm. It's definitely interesting to think about. And for students who have, um, learning differences, AI can really help. Like, imagine tools that can transcribe lectures or translate in real time. It can make education accessible for everyone.
So everyone has a chance to learn.
Exactly.
That's pretty amazing when you think about it.
Okay.
But let's be real, there are challenges too, right?
Of course. I mean, think about academic integrity. If AI can write essays and do all this stuff, how do we know students are actually learning?
Yeah, good point. Like, how do we stop cheating? Do we need, like, stricter rules about using AI in school? What do you think? Could AI be used responsibly, or is it just too risky?
It's a valid concern. I
Mm,
think educators have to figure out how to use AI in a way that helps students learn, but also, keep things fair. It's tricky, but super important to get right.
definitely. Okay, let's switch gears for a minute. What about the creative side of things? That's where AI is getting a lot of attention.
Oh yeah, it's becoming this powerful tool for, well, for anyone who's creative. Artists, writers, musicians, filmmakers, they can use AI to get ideas, try different styles, even get help with technical stuff.
Like editing.
Yeah, it's like having a creative partner.
Who's also, like, a tech genius or something?
Exactly. And that means these artists can focus on the more, the bigger picture stuff, like storytelling or expressing
It
emotions.
frees them up to be more creative.
That's the idea.
That's pretty powerful.
And it also makes creative stuff more accessible. Like, imagine someone who can't draw, but they can still create art using AI.
So anyone can be an artist.
In a way, yeah, it opens up a whole new world of possibilities.
That's an amazing idea. But what about the quality? Like, if everyone can make masterpieces with AI, wouldn't that, change things?
Yeah, it definitely raises some questions. Like, how do we define art if AI can create it?
Yeah, and will we still think it's special?
It's something we have to think about, definitely.
These are the questions, like the big questions we'll be getting into in the next part. So we've been talking about how AI could change, well, everything, like how we learn and create. But let's think about this. What happens to art if AI can just make, anything?
Yeah, it really makes you wonder, like, what is art even? What does it mean to be creative?
Some people say it has to come from a human, right? Like our experiences, our emotions.
Right, right. That it's got to be like a reflection of us.
But then some people say that creativity can exist anywhere, even in an algorithm.
Yeah. Like, could you program a computer to make something beautiful,
Yeah.
even if it doesn't feel anything?
Whoa. That's pretty deep. So where does that leave art? Will AI just be like another tool for artists, or could it like replace them altogether?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Some people say AI will bring on this like golden age of creativity, that everyone will be able to make art, but others are, well, they're worried.
Mm.
What do you think? Does that excite you or kind of scare you?
It's definitely something to think about. Like, imagine if anyone could create anything, a painting, a song, a story. Would that change how we see art?
Would it be less special, less meaningful?
Maybe. Or maybe not. It really depends on what we decide is important. Like, will we care more about the skill involved? Or will it be more about the feeling behind it?
Think about the art you love. What makes it special to you? Could a computer ever really do that?
That's a great question. And honestly, I don't know the answer. But I think it's something we all need to be asking ourselves, especially Gen Z. They're growing up with all this.
Yeah, they're going to be the ones who decide how it all goes down.
Exactly. And that's why we need to be talking about this. We
Yeah.
need to think about AI and how it could be used for good and for bad.
So in this deep dive, we've talked about a lot. Personalized learning, AI art, cheating, even what it means to be creative.
It's a lot to wrap your head around.
It is, but it's just the beginning. This stuff is changing so fast. It's exciting, but it's also, well, kind of scary.
Definitely. We got to keep asking questions and learning about all this.
So keep exploring, keep thinking, and keep an open mind. Because the future is, well, it's pretty wide open.